I have my mothers living in my blood. They are begging to come out. My name is Georgina, and I come from a matrilineal society. My mother is the eldest daughter of her mother, thus she has inherited land and status as the head of her family. Her parents were missionaries, and she traveled with them all over the country. I love hearing her stories of moving around different provinces, living and experiencing new things during those years before independence. She brought me and my two sisters up with a firm but loving hand and took her role as our mother to heart. Though her methods were not always perfect, she did her best to ensure we knew right from wrong. Coming from a strong church background, she would take us to church every Saturday. We participated in all the children's activities to the extent that she ensured that I attended church schools from primary to high school to eventually university. As I grew older, I started drifting away from her childhood teachings and ultimately left the church she brought me up in. I knew that this broke her heart, but at the time, I didn't think much of it, as I was discovering the world for myself and felt restrained in her beliefs and the plans she had for me. This did not dissuade her from always being there for me when my wayward lifestyle came with its consequences. Mom bailed me out so many times and gave me opportunities to make something of myself. Looking back now, I've come to realize that she has been my one constant, supporting me through all my bad decisions and loving me unconditionally. I am now approaching my middle-aged years, and I also recently found out that I will be a mom soon. This has got me thinking a lot about my life so far and how I want to live it going forward. I want to give my little one the same loving upbringing my mom gave me and teach him or her the same values and principles she taught me. I have started going back to church, though it has not been easy, but I will stick with it because this is something precious that was given to me from my mom, passed down from her mom, who is no longer with us on this earth. This precious gift, I have no doubt, will give me the strength that I need to bring up my little one as well. Because I have no doubt it gave her that strength to put up with everything that I have put her through as well. I want to be able to give all that to my little one, everything that my mom gave me.
My mother's blood flows through me, cascading from previous generations. Within this stream, I carry their pain, strength, fear, and resilience. My grandmother, although the pillar of strength in her community, was a widow, forever carrying the pain of losing her love after bearing their first child. Now a young mother with a bastard child, living in a tribe where she no longer serves her purpose as a wife, culture dictates that she remarries her love's brother to compensate for the bride price. Still mourning the loss of her love, she agreed, only to leave the tribe after her second child. Now with two fatherless children, she returns home to her tribe. With the help of her brothers, she attempts to rebuild her life, owning clubs, bands, and other places of business. Her brothers, all younger than her, followed her. She supported them financially through supporting their schooling and helping them purchase multiple wives. This, however, was not done out of the goodness of her heart, yet a means to maintain control over the men close to her in her life. The siblings' lifestyle consisted of partying, fights, and broken relationships. Looking back at my grandmother's actions as a young woman, I now understand her need to maintain control over her life in whatever means necessary. It was as nothing she did had its own merits as she was a woman. However, with the God of her brothers, she felt invincible. But to maintain that God, she manipulated, tormented, and dominated their lives, resulting in their relationships ultimately dissipating. Her worth as a woman has always been determined by what she can provide to the men in her life, either as a wife or sister. Through submitting, providing, and adhering to their wishes, she maintains her place in the tribe. My mother grew up feeling displaced, as her mother's pain had now traveled to her. Being referred by her own mother's tribes as a bastard, she then continued the cycle of needing to prove her value in the tribe. Completing school and then becoming a doctor, she continued to support her tribe. She married and had 2 children. However, the insecurity and lack of self-worth led to this relationship turning violent and eventually ending. My mother was now also a mother of 2 bastards. She continued to work and provide for her children, and in turn avoiding any intimacy and vulnerability with men who would come and go throughout her unmarried life. It was safer for her to continue alone. Now, as a young woman living in Australia, without these ingrained cultural perceptions of self, I am allowed the liberty to reflect on my own actions as well as those before me. Although my mother's blood flows through me, I will filter it with unconditional love and appreciation for self and for those that come after me.
Your ovaries are gone, along with the rest of your reproductive system, but that doesn't stop the memories from coming back. Here are the babies with beautiful brown eyes and gorgeous curly hairs. You've watched them grow, all curious and bright eyes, curls bopping in the sun. From cooing to laughter, diapers to soothes, fed from your loving own hand. There's joy and life beginning. There's yours shorten. You're leaving again with their every milestone. Their mothers are delighted, overjoyed to be mothers themselves, to have babies after their own, taught us to love, just as you did, and I did. Each generation rejoicing in their own children. We've learnt this from you, this joy of motherhood, homemaking, hard work, pride in our homes and family, in homemade birthday cakes and lovingly decorated rooms, things your mother taught you. I never knew her, but I fold my tales the way she did, the way you taught me, the proper way. And while these little girls will long outlive us both, you're there in them, just as your mother lives in me. Even now you reside in their nurseries, that they've so thoughtfully prepared in excited mental anticipation of their births to come. In the faith they'll be taught, and the committed marriages that will envelope them as they grow. You'll be there. It's 3 generations, 4 generations. How lovely. Echoes from those who have come earlier are there. There are those who've come before you are there too, and they'll be present long after you are gone, long after I am gone. And so now, here I am in the middle, bridging the gap, loving you both, living through each day as you did through both of you, as one I love suffers and have gone, and the others I rejoice in will come, holding within me the exquisite tension of knowing that for this brief shining moment I have it all, that for this glimmering second we can pretend it's perfect, that it's all perfect.
As I speak, I am in an abusive relationship. I have been physically abused and emotionally abused. I can't talk about the verbal abuse I get every single day. It's too painful for me to talk about it. It's painful and it's frustrating too. I have been manipulated financially as well. And I can tell you how defeating this is. It's not easy to just make this end. It eats you up. It's frustrating as I said. You feel defeated to the point where you just want to cry. You cannot speak. And this, I believe, is also the story of our mothers before and now. I believe this is the story that most of our mothers are going through, and they're not speaking up. I cannot hold this anymore. I need to break the silence so that I give voice to others. They do not have to suffer silently. They do not have to beg anymore.
You mean to tell me that there are 7.6 billion people in the world? A million shades of peculiar women, each one distinctively unique, special, different? Why is it that we have become accustomed to disguise ourselves to society? So much so that in the end, we only end up becoming a disguise to ourselves. Why is it that we must question our own existence? Why is it that we must question our worth? Being born a girl does not make us inadequate. Why should we be treated different? Equality does not discriminate. It's time to accept, not differentiate. We must not yield. We will not be treated any less, for we are all the same. We are all mere mortals, dwelling the earth, breathing the same air. Lest we forget the women that came before us, the tales of 1,000 generations of strong-willed, determined, and fierce women, the very women that fought so hard so that we may have a voice, so that we may be seen. They are within us. Remember, we are born with the heart of 1,000 mothers. We are fearless. We are born to tell our own tales and to be the influence of change for those that were before us and for those that will come after us. We are wisdom. Our soul is immeasurable. We are passion, destiny, and grace knitted into the veins that cycle within our body. We are magic. We will speak without permission. We will not be undervalued. Our softness is not to be mistaken for weakness. Our kindness will not be taken advantage of. Victory is stalemate, and misogyny only reduces us to a slave state. We will awake every voice that sleeps inside us.